What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another Fantasy Puck video, and today I'm going to be going over our must-add players for Week 9. Before we get started, guys, I want to know in the comments down below, what is the best trade you've made so far this fantasy hockey season? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know how. I'm probably going to see a lot of just absolute fleeces. But if you guys think that you made a really good trade that's really helped your team, let me know in the comments down below. I'm very interested to see who you guys are moving and who you guys are trying to acquire. As always, guys, be sure that you're joining the Discord. We have a huge fantasy hockey community, constantly growing every single day with a lot of fantasy hockey discussion. If you guys have questions about your teams, who you want to stream, who you want to add, who you want to drop, there's a lot of guys in there that are willing to help, including myself and Mike and Don. So definitely make sure that you join the Discord if you're interested in fantasy hockey content. As well as, guys, be sure that you're signing up for Prize Picks. Use code PUCK when you do. They will match your deposit up to $100. And if you're interested in doing that, please make sure that you use code PUCK. It really, really helps us out, especially with future sponsorships and good stuff that we're trying to bring you guys in the future. As well as, guys, be sure that you're following us on Twitter whenever there's any type of fantasy hockey update, whether it's an injury, whether it's people moving up and down the lineup. Don does an absolutely fantastic job at letting us know as soon as that happens. So be sure that you're following us on Twitter as well, guys. And we also have a bunch of premium fantasy hockey options for you guys. We're always thinking of new ways to kind of add to the more premium aspect of our Patreon. So if you're interested in more things like player projections and the trade analyzer, you also get an exclusive first look at any type of trades or anything that you're trying to make happen in your league, whether it's a trade, whether it's a pickup, whether it's an ad or drop. Like I said, in our Discord, you guys get your own premium channel as well if you sign up for Patreon, which gets first dibs at things like questions and stuff like that as well. So definitely make sure that you're signing up for Patreon if you're interested in that. Let's get right into the video. Our first must-add player is Frank Vatrano of the Anaheim Ducks. He is a left wing and right wing eligible at 5% owned. We're going to kind of start things off with like some of the lower ownership guys. Vatrano's line 2, power play 2, seeing top 6 minutes, and he's currently only shooting 5%. So I'd expect that to increase a lot of the time. You know, like when you see a player that's playing top 6 minutes that has a really, really low shooting percentage, your chances are it's like, oh, they're just putting like a vet guy in there. But Vatrano's actually been like very, very good. He's second on the team in shot creation behind Troy Terry, so that's a really good number to kind of look at, and that explains why his shot volume is so high this year as well too. He's got great peripherals. He'll chip in on the hits category as well. He hits quite a bunch as well, and he's got a really, really high shot volume, one of the better ones in the league. So I definitely recommend picking up Vatrano as an ad. Again, we talk about the bad team fallacy a lot of the time. Like, it's very, very apparent when you think of Anaheim and how they're kind of like in the bottom end of the league. But Vatrano, again, is a good player that's 5% owned and seeing top 6 minutes and power play 2. And I think he's worth an ad in 14+ team leagues. Up next, we have Alex Newhook of the Colorado Avalanche. He's a left wing center eligibility, only 8%. I expect this to absolutely skyrocket in the next little bit, especially with McKinnon being out. He's got that line 1 power play 1 on lock right now, seeing 20+ minutes a night, especially over his past 3 games. He's got exposure to guys like Randon and McCarr constantly, whether it's on the power play or at 5-on-5, and expect his peripherals to absolutely go up just because of the sheer amount of ice time that he's going to get. This is a great opportunity for Newhook to kind of solidify himself in the lineup. This is just like a low risk, high reward type thing for me. And if he sticks in that line 1 role, they might just keep him there until Gabe comes back and maybe put Gabe at second line center, just because that's an area that they've kind of been lacking in so far in Colorado. Like needs some more scoring. Like, they've got a bunch of guys that are injured right now, so it's pretty low risk, high reward. I think he's a must add in most leagues, definitely for sure though in 14+ team leagues, and he's dual eligible, so you should be able to just get him right into your lineup. Up next is Jack Quinn of the Buffalo Sabres, and I didn't expect him to be this high owned already, but he's been absolutely popping off recently, and we'll talk about Dylan Cozens a little bit later, but he's finally on line 2, finally seeing a consistent minutes. His minutes are actually trending upwards into comparison, just because of how good that second line has been for you guys. He's getting power play 2 time right now. It'd be unbelievable if he could see some of that power play 1 with Tage and Dylan, but he's got 10 points in his last 10 games. He's looking like he's found a spot in Buffalo's top 6, and he's an absolute ad in 12+ team leagues. The Sabres are 6th in goals for and 25th in the league in goals against, which means they're a very, very high event hockey team, which is what we like to see when we're trying to find, good value scorers lower in the lineup. But Quinn's just been on an absolute tear recently, guys. He's 20% owned. He's, again, pretty low risk just because of how good he's been. Left wing, right wing eligible. So if you guys need a winger, definitely look to grab Jack Quinn. And I'm really excited for this guy. This is a guy that we were on kind of like prior to the season as a potential breakout candidate. He had an absolute monster year in the AHL. We expected him to kind of be in the top 6, and it just didn't end up happening for Quinn. Like, he was kind of like third line, fourth line sometimes. He was like healthy scratches at times as well too. But it seems like he's found a spot in the top 6, which is what we were hoping for out of Quinn. So I definitely recommend that you guys grab him if possible. Next up is Kevin Hayes of the Philadelphia Flyers, and he was previously a sell high for me, and I still think he is, but there's some like crazy stats that I'm going to list off for you guys that I had no idea, or at least that I haven't been watching too closely. Because Philly's really just spiraled out of control in terms of their scoring. He's line 1, power play 1. I didn't know that he was over a point per game right now. The stat that shocks me the most is he's tied for 13th in the entire league in shots over the last 30 days. So he is shooting the puck at a ridiculous rate. He's got good peripherals as well. Like, he'll chip in the hits and blocks department as well. Good power play guy to have as well too. Line 1, power play 1 for 34% owned. Like, that's great. And I talked about the bad team fallacy already with Vatrano, but like, it's just so apparent with Hayes. Like, that's probably why he's 34% owned for a guy that's like over a point per game and has just started shooting the puck at will. I think he's an absolute ad. I think you can hang on to him if you want. Like, if you just grab him off of waivers and you need a spot, like say you had McKinnon and you need somebody to fill that spot, I think Hayes is a great option. He definitely won't get you the shot volume, but you know, he is shooting the puck quite a bit. Like, the fact that he's 13th, tied for 13th in shots for the last 3 days is like mind-boggling to me, because you think of Kevin Hayes and you think of like a really like a setup guy, like a guy that doesn't really score a lot of goals, but he's having a very, very good year, and he's definitely worth an add in 10 to 12 plus team leagues. I'm looking to kind of grab this guy as well too, if I'm honest with you. But that, like, Philly's scoring has just been like atrocious, and they've definitely regressed from the beginning of their season. But it just seems that like Hayes is still being able to find production, which is good. And so, like, again, bad team fallacy, obviously, like, plus minus is a little bit of a concern, but you know, like, I think he hits every single other category, and he's chipping in, like I said, in blocks and hits. So he's definitely a must-add player for me. Speaking of guys that are absolute must-add players, Jacob Chychrun of the Arizona Coyotes. He's already 67% owned, guys, but if you have a spot to add a player just in general, not even if it's just a defenseman, you absolutely have to add Jacob Chychrun to your team. He's a must-add in every single league. He's got the second highest shots per game already amongst defensemen, only behind Roman Josi right now. He's 13th in points per game amongst defensemen already, and he's got great peripherals as well. He hits, he blocks, he plays like 22 minutes a night. Like, he's an absolute must-add for defensemen. And then on top of that, like, he's just still got the potential to be traded. I'm almost like hesitant to see him traded at this point, because he's just been so good for Arizona to start the season. And it looks like he's just right back on track to where he was 2 years ago when he scored 20 goals as a defenseman. His shot rate is at 11.4 shots per 60. And if you look at most elite shooters, they're hovering around like 12 to 13 shots per 60. So Chychrun is right up there with some of the best in the league when it comes to his shot rate. And guys, just an absolute must own. Pick this guy up if he's available in your league. 67% owned. This guy should be at the very least 80% owned. Make sure that you're grabbing this guy if he's available and if you have a spot on your team. Rounding out our must-add players is Dylan Cozens of the Buffalo Sabres. A lot of you guys are already on him, but I figured I would include him in this video anyways for those of you that are currently sleeping under a rock. He's got 16 points in his last 10 games. He's on an absolute heater right now. Line 2, power play 1. Like I said, if this guy's already taken, definitely look at Jack Quinn, who's 20% owned, who's getting exposure to this guy because Cozens has just been unbelievable lately. 7 power play points in 38 shots in his last 10 games. That is a ridiculous amount of power play points for 10 games, and a very, very good shot rate as well. He's also winning faceoffs, so if you guys count that in your league too, like, Cozens is just a great ad altogether. The only downside is he doesn't really hit, doesn't really block. He'll get you maybe 1, 2 of those a night. So other than that, he's just been an absolute stud for the Sabres so far. Must add, and he's absolutely a potential sell high if you're able to kind of dish this guy, because he's so hot right now. I would definitely look to do so if you're able to get a very good return for him. And again, like, we talk about it a lot of the times, like whether or not to hold on players that seem to be breaking out, especially like younger players like Cozens, or do we sell high on them in anticipation that they're going to kind of regress? And it's very possible that Cozens is just having like a breakout year, very similar to like Cole Caulfield, where they're just like, scoring at a really, really high rate right now. And I think that, it's really up to you and what your team is looking like. If you're able to snag this guy off of waivers and then, like I said, sell high on him, I think it's a really, really good option for you guys. But regardless, Cozens is just a must add right now. You have to have him on your team just because of how hot he is. And you know what? Like, again, if you want to sell high on him, great. If you want to keep him, even better. Like, you have to have him on your team right now. All right, moving on to some IR players to stash for you guys. I'm including this in the ad video because I think it, kind of fits in with the video, but I wanted to include these last couple guys here for you guys. Tom Wilson, who's 46% owned, is an absolute Bangers League must own. If he's available and you're in a Bangers League, 100% pick him up right now. Do not hesitate. He's expected to be back sometime in December. He's currently skating in a non-contact jersey, and I expect him to slot right into the top 6, probably line 1 and power play 1. 52 points in 78 games last year with 240 hits. Definitely worth stashing him on your IR, especially if you guys need a winger. Our final player in this video is another IR stash for you guys, Ryan Hartman of the Minnesota Wild. He's 33% owned right now. This one's probably a little bit more long-term than Wilson is. He is skating right now, but he did not go on Minnesota's road trip, which is, I believe, a 4-gamer. So probably for the next couple weeks, I wouldn't expect him to be back. And like I said, there's really no timetable for his return, but Minnesota needs a centerman bad. Like, they have Sam Steele playing line 1 for them right now. So once Hartman's back, I expect him to slot into that top line. And he might be, like I said, more of a long-term hold. He might still be out for a couple weeks, guys, but definitely worth adding and stashing to your guys' team. 65 points in 82 games with 239 shots, and any guy that's got any type of exposure to Kirill Kaprizov and has a really high shot volume, I definitely want to add on my team. So definitely stash him on your IR if he's available. That's gonna do for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you guys enjoyed. It really helps us out on the channel here, guys. And like I said, leave a comment down below on what your best trade has been so far this season. I'm expecting to see some absolutely ridiculous trades, but I'm excited to see what you guys have been moving and acquiring for your guys' teams. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day.